Okay, everyone's video on Sunday the 7th of December 2025, just gone 8:48 a.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So it's the weekend, time for another weekend futures market recap, where I go through 15 of the largest futures markets and I show you what I'm seeing on my charts. Hope you had a great week's trading, a lot going on. We've got the Emini pushing up and up and up, so we're going to talk about that in a minute. Before getting to the charts though, just to say a couple of things. Sorry the video is coming out late. We had some surf this morning, so I was down south getting into that. Secondly, I bum dialed some emails to 5,000 or 6,000 subscribers during the week, Thursday or Friday. Apologies for that. I was trying to figure out how to do a live on YouTube. Did not work out for me, and I accidentally ended up sending out a bum email to all of the email subscribers. So if you receive that weird email from me, apologies. I'll try and figure out how to do lives on YouTube. But to make up for that, we have some updated code on the Emini-Watch website under the free indicators. I'm gradually getting around to going through each of these free indicators, updating the code, commenting it, and so on. And at the moment, we've just released two of them. So the first one is the trend line indicator. This has actually been a paid product years and years ago, but now I just figure just release it to everybody so you can have a look. It's just for TradeStation, I'm afraid, at this stage, but the code is open. You get a text version and an easy language version, so you can maybe use some AI coding to help translate that for NinjaScript or whatever. So I'll drop a link to the free indicators on the description of this video, but you can go watch the video on the trendline indicator and then download the code at the bottom of the page. Also updated the vertical line indicator. This is a very popular indicator. It's so simple, and from time to time I update it and change it for my needs. It just plots a vertical line, beginning of the day, end of the day, 11 a.m., end of the week, and so on. You can switch all of those on and off and change colors and all that good stuff. That's free. Again, I think we've got versions for NinjaScript as well as TradeStation on this, but that indicator is explained in that video, and you can download that from the site. So there we go. Let us now talk about some charts. We'll go through the Emini charts first, and I'm on the wrong one, so let's go to the daily chart here. Daily chart of the Emini, and we're getting dangerously close to the 7,000 level. So in terms of cycles, we're at a pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame on the daily chart, syncing up with cyclical resistance on the highest time frame. We're above resistance on the intermediate time frame, so we'll probably have to make pullback to end of trend on that intermediate time frame. But cyclically, this is a dangerous level. But in terms of patterns on the higher time frames, at least, there's nothing there to say that we're going to drop back. We bounced off this flush pattern here. We don't have Rambo patterns, professional bars, momentum isn't interesting, and so on. So on the daily chart, it looks like we're just going to keep on creeping towards 7,000 and see what happens after that. As we drop through the time frames, the lower time frames, you'll see we got some weakness and might lead to that at the beginning of this week, but not on these higher time frame charts. 135-minute chart here. This is what we're bouncing from over the last couple of weeks. The exhaustion sell, the blue professional bars, broken into another uptrend, got a signal here. But on the 135-minute chart, you can see we're overcooked. Once we get a certain distance above a breakout on a highest time frame here, and we put in a number of pullback to end of trends, it just shows that we're overdone up here. We've got a sign of weakness there, an arrow down. The bars are white and they've just turned red. We've got a cyclical resistance happening there. So let's see if that turns into anything. But on this time frame, all it should do is just drop down to where we have support on the intermediate time frame, where these lines come together and bounce from there. And you'll see this again, particularly on the 13,500 tip bar chart. We've just gone so far past that breakout level where we start to make a lot of congestion patterns and we can't get any further, and so we just have a dip back down. 45-minute chart, here we go. This is nice. We've got all those blue professional bars, exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, nice pattern on bullish divergence, not near the zero line, so we didn't need to test, just set off from there. Yes, some Rambo patterns up last week, but nothing this week. Cyclically, there we go. We've got resistance on all three time frames very close together. So does that mean we're just going to drop down, find some support, and then rally through the 7,000 level there potentially? 15-minute chart, again, there's that detail as we come back down. So on the 45-minute chart, that's what that pattern looked like down here. 15-minute chart, you can see all of those blue professional bars, the exhaustion sells, the bullish divergence patterns. So that's better momentum coming in, and we get a couple of signals to go long at that point, and we break into an uptrend. Rambo patterns at the end of last week, Rambo patterns mid this week. We've got a squeeze pattern here with the cyan blocks, which just says that we're really tight together in terms of these support and resistance lines and price. They're really coiled up here, waiting for something. But it's not a top, in as much as no exhaustion patterns, no blue professional bars. But it could be that we've just run out of puff and we'll drop back down till we get support in the highest time frame and then rally. Blue professional bars coming on the retrace and so on. So that's the 15-minute chart. And then let's look at this on the 13,000. This is what I mean by being overcooked. So here we go. We've broken through a resistance on the highest time frame here. We've got a big things happen at triples signal there. We either get big breaks or big bounces from triple signal here, and we get a break into an uptrend. And we have our first little pullback to end of trend on the lowest and the intermediate time frame. Then we put it in again, low to intermediate time frame. So we've had two of those sequences go on here before the end of the week, last week. And then this week we just did nothing. We just went backwards and forwards through these resistance levels. And when we're overcooked like that, we're overbought above a resistance line here that we've broken out, what we typically do is at some point we'll drop back down till these lines come together, the thickest lines, the highest time frame lines come together, blue professional bars coming on the retrace or an exhaustion sell signal, something like that, and we rally from there. So I'm just saying we're overbought, temporarily. We've got some signs of weakness at the moment come in, but it hasn't dropped yet. So we'll have to wait and see. In terms of blue professional bars this week, so the vertical solid yellow lines mark the beginnings and the ends of the week. And with this week's activity that you can see, we led into it, big pro bars, exhaustion buy, more exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, more big pro bars into these highs. We had a signal short, didn't go anywhere, ended up with exhaustion sell, and we rallied from there. So there's a lot of activity here in terms of big pro bars at the highs here. So let's see if this drops. If we drop through this level, 68.40, 68.20 down here, that would lead to a nice little sell-off. But as I said, it hasn't happened yet. All I'm saying is we're overbought at the moment. Still got a seasonal pattern happening at the moment. The seasonal pattern runs till the end of the week, this week coming up, really, or midweek, which is continued strength, Thanksgiving holiday. So that pattern actually has quite a lot of length in it. And then we run into potentially Christmas rally. So I don't know. Be nice if we have a little bit of weakness this week, that then the blue professional bars come in and then really get it going into a Christmas rally. We'll see, but that's what I'm seeing on my Emini charts at the moment. Tough week trading the Emini because none of those moves ended up being nice trending moves at all. Now, last weekend's video we talked about how the precious metals, Bitcoin, Ethereum charts had worked out really nicely over the last couple of weeks. Here we go, 3 weeks ago we had a signal long and ended up being a nice rally in gold up to 4,300. But here we have potentially a little bit of a double top happening. So we have big pro bars at the end of last week into those highs. Exhaustion buy, bearish divergence comes in here. A little bit of weakness, we come back up, and there's blue professional bars come in here at that level, 43s up there, testing those highs. And this time around, we couldn't make it through. We dropped down. We've had a signal short on gold at the moment. Exhaustion sell, maybe getting the move going. Blue professional bars on the retrace here, not picking it up at the lows. So let's see if we have a little bit of profit taking in gold this week. Silver, similar type thing. I mean, it's been a stellar run, almost to $60 on silver. But leading into those highs, big pro bars, exhaustion buy, bearish divergence. I know the news is good and everybody's super excited. The gold bugs, the silver bugs are super excited at the moment. We bounced off exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, blue professional bars here. Got a little bit of a signal there, but again, it's almost like a double top happening here. Not quite as nice as this signal here with blue professional bars closer to that top in 4,300 on gold. So we've had blue professional bars, big pro bars at that level up here. It's not signaled yet, but a drop below 58.50. 58.50, yep, would signal that short. So let's see if we get some profit taking on those. Not saying it's a change in trend or anything like that, but it just could be a profit taking move where people exit quickly and it ends up with a little bit of weakness. So Bitcoin did have a bounce over the last couple of weeks. Here are our big pro bars coming here. We get our signal. Some professionals taking profits here, but then they get interested again on the dip down to 84. They were not exiting up here. They were getting back in at 88. We've got exhaustion, sell, and bullish divergence come in here. But we need to get back above 92s here to confirm that they're buying that little weakness there in Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is different because we don't have those blue professional bars at the highs up there taking profits. Ethereum, we do have some profit taking here, and so the weekend trading happening at the moment, Ethereum looks pretty weak, coming down to 2,900. So here we had exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence. Some big pro bars are ways away here, but the move gets going. They're interested in that lows. The professionals step in here, but then they're taking profits here at 3,200. We get a signal short. So that's the story on precious metals, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's look at the Forex charts, because the Forex charts were interesting over the last couple of weeks. They set up on Euro. Here we had a whole series of signs of strength. Big pro bars, one thin line in the background there. And we get our signal, we have a little bit of a test, and we continue rallying. And I should probably pull up the daily chart on the Euro. Let me pull that up. So first of all, let's look at better pro-am on the daily chart. So back here at the end of 22, big pro bars, exhaustion, sell, and this was coming down to almost parity on the Euro, and it rocketed. Did not take profits here at the highs. You can't see blue professional bars there. It just weakened. Didn't have enough interest in getting it going above 16, 18. But then the big pro bars on the retrace down to fours came in again. We've had another move. Now this is exhaustion by getting the move going, and these are big professional bars and professional bars getting us out of this channel. They're not taking profits because we're not above 18 here, so we didn't see these patterns. And then the activity that we've had over the last 3 or 4 months has just been weakening. From there, we've got a whole bunch of squeeze patterns happening here, amateur down bars at that point. So on the daily chart on the Euro, we're in an uptrend. We've just found a little bit of weakness there, and you can see in terms of the cyclical patterns, we're really tight there at the moment. We've got supports on the low and the intermediate. All of this is happening around a breakout level on the highest time frame. I don't know who is interested in investing in the Euro. Maybe it's just bonds and interest rate differentials and so on, but it's counterintuitive, this strength that we're having in the Euro, British pound at the moment. It's like, who'd be interested in those currencies? But anyway, that's interesting to me on these higher time frame charts. If you go down to the 460 minute, you can see we took off into this uptrend. We didn't have blue professional bars taking profits here or here, and we've got all of those squeeze patterns here just sitting under 17 on the Euro. So for me, it's a little bit counterintuitive, but are we going to have continued strength in the Euro? We get through 17 and then wait and see where this goes. Really interesting there. So that's the Euro chart. British pound's also been strong. You look at the rubbish that's going on in the UK at the moment. They had their budget come out and nothing but criticism of it, but the markets seemingly liked it. That was when we had this very odd bar. The budget had come out. It was also post-Thanksgiving, thin trading, and we had this odd print. I've looked at it on a bunch of different charting platforms, and that's for real. So yes, some blue professional bars taking profits here. We got a signal. Didn't work out though. We kept on trailing through, and so far no exhaustion buys, no blue professional bars at the highs. So British pound's in an uptrend. Aussie dollar also in an uptrend. This looks like there's some profit taking. So the last couple of weeks, here's the big pro bars coming at the lows. We get an exhaustion buy, getting the move going, and there's our signal to go long. That was a nice trade. I took profits way too early in the Aussie dollar, but now we got big pro bars coming in here, Rambo patterns and so on. So let's see if we get a reversal or some profit taking in the Aussie dollar there, but seemingly not on the other currencies. Japanese yen's looking weak. So over the last 3 weeks, here at the lows, you see we've got Rambo patterns. This is the amateurs selling it down at that point. They've run out of steam because it's just amateur activity driving that forward. It's not enough to keep going, and we bounce off there. But then this last week, double top happening, professional bars, exhaustion buy happening here. Then we come back, big pro bars come in right at that level there, testing into those highs, double top, and a signal short on the Japanese yen. So Japanese yen going to continue to head down, which again everybody's talking about all the problems in Japan and the end of the carry trade and so on. Well, if we had the end of the carry trade, the Japanese yen would be going up, not down. So it's interesting. And 10 years this week. So over the last couple of weeks we rallied in the 10 years, and then mid this week the professionals, big pros, come in here, they sell it down. They did not like whatever news came out there, and we're in a downtrend on 10 years. And is it this week we're going to get a Fed announcement on rates? I haven't checked my calendar, but I think it is. And so the expectation is that they'll be dropping rates by 25 basis points, which would cause the bond market to rally. And this is selling off. So are we not going to have a move in rates? So that'd be interesting to watch, I think, this week. And lastly, let's talk about the energy complex, because we had a really nice run in natural gas over the last several weeks. But this week's activity, look at all these bars. That's a lot of activity in natural gas. And finally, at the end of this week, big pro bars, whole bunch of them come in here at 550, and we get a signal short. We're rallying at the moment, but let's see if we get a weak rally and then we come back down through 525s and we get some profit taking in natural gas. Crude has not rallied yet. We've been talking about this, just fussing around. Very junky chart at the moment. But maybe this is the breakout. The background's in red. The predominance of this activity over the last week and a bit, the background's in red, suggesting we're in an uptrend. Yep, some blue professional bars here. But yeah, let's see if the activity rolls out of natural gas and rolls into crude instead. And then lastly, what I want to show you, nice move here in copper over the last 2 weeks. Professional bars come in here. Unfortunately, it didn't generate a signal because we didn't get a nice little blue square down here because the market just ripped through that 505, 510 level into an uptrend. Backgrounds in red. A little bit of profit taking here, but no exhaustion patterns there on copper. So there we go, a rip through the charts. Hope your trading is going well. I'm looking forward to next week.